my beautiful vocal family. Welcome to Voice Launch Masterclass. I am your host, Irma, and I'm so excited to be here today with you. So, I really wanted to speak on this topic today because it's so important to myself as well as a lot of you. And a lot of people may not even realize that it's important to them yet until, something happens. Let me adjust this real quick. 1 second. Y'all want to move with me. There we go. And so, yep. We're good. So, have you ever had the experience of someone telling you that you cannot sing, or even you can't do something that, of course, you really see yourself doing? Maybe you're passionate about it, and you just hear somebody just either give you this negative comment about a dream or a perspective or an opinion you have. And somehow, it just sticks with you. Like, you can't get it out of your head. You don't know, you heard the statement or whatever they said, but it just sticks with you. You're just like, oh my gosh, like, why am I going through this? Excuse me 1 second. And so, oops. Hold on 1 second. I just realized something. Boop. All right. Sorry about that. I just realized that something about my signal was just a little off, and I wanted to make sure that you guys could get the best of the video. So here we go. But anywho, has it ever, has anything like that ever happened to you? And so much that, you hesitate to even continue along the path where you were. Maybe, your dream is to sing, or, I don't know, be a baker, something unique, something that stands out. Everybody knows that you're passionate about, right? Or maybe they don't know you're passionate about it. Maybe you've kept it inside. And you want to work on that part of yourself and develop that part, and sometimes, we can feel like, well, our voice doesn't matter if someone tells us this or things like that, like, especially the people, these are the people that I have pretty much officially moved out of my life, or the negative Nancy's, like, that doesn't really, I don't think that'll work for you, or maybe, that's not the best thing for you, Hi, good morning, Joseph. Thank you so much for chiming in with us. It's just one of those things where it can really be embedded in you, and it can hurt in some cases. It can just really make you feel like, you don't matter. Your thoughts and concerns don't matter. And it isn't right, obviously, maybe it chipped away at your confidence. Maybe you don't feel worthy enough in order to get in front of people again and do that thing. Maybe you sang for some event or for your family, and they said, oh no, you can't do that again, and maybe they tried to say it in a nice way, but the message just did not come across right, Good morning, Dee. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. this is one of those things where, it can make it hard for people to really speak up because, as a creative person, even like I see myself as a creative, obviously, but um, it's one of those things where it can shatter a person's dreams or perception of themselves. And that is when it becomes dangerous because, God gives us a vision or visions, ideas, thoughts as to where he wants us to go. And that even takes, it could, that this whole conversation could go down a whole nother rabbit hole with that. But my point is, being aware of it first is so important that, because some people don't even realize that this is an issue. You have some people who, if someone says, oh, I want to go learn how to be a flight attendant, or I want to go fly around the world and have fun and just live that way for the rest of my life and discover things, who knows what I could discover, or maybe I could find a solution to things that need to be fixed, and somebody in their circle, or maybe someone who's just random, pops up and says, hey, that's really not a good idea. I don't think you should blah, 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 blah. These are the people who, when they get to this point, they may not realize it, and they'll just say, oh, well, I guess, you're right. You've been talked out of it, But then you have some of us who, if you hear it, clearly it doesn't sit with your heart because you take offense, or even if you don't take offense, you're just like, no, I'm not listening to you, or some, in this case, what I'm talking about are people who would listen, it would affect them, and so, it begins to internalize, and you start to shrink in those areas in your life. You stop focusing on your goal. You deter, you go in a different direction, and nothing really works out for you because you're not on the path you're supposed to be on. Have you been there before? Raise your hand. Put a hand up in the comments, right? I think we've all been there to a certain extent in our lives before. And that voice of doubt, it's really, it's not yours. And we have to really identify the wound behind the words. What was the purpose of that person saying what they were saying? And why is it impacting us that way so much? Because not to say that the ideas and opinions of others have no meaning or importance in life, but if it is not serving you, you shouldn't feel obligated to give it your energy. I know I don't. I don't give my energy to people whose ideas of me and my ideas are below my standards. So, that's how you know for certain that people are even, on your side or for you. You will have people who will give you criticism, that is good, constructive criticism, not destructive criticism. There's a difference. You have destructive criticism where people will tell you things or say things about a dream or a passion that you have, and it does not help you. There was nothing intended there was nothing intentional given from that person to help you. And they knew that when they said that. God forbid you bring it up to them and confront them about it, they'll probably gaslight you and say, oh, well, no, I didn't mean it like that. That wasn't my intention, right? But you have those who, they mean good. And those are people that are sent to you by God. I strongly believe that there are no incidents in that regard as well, because I feel that we have a mission or many missions here, and God has those tools aligned in the right place at the right time for us to work with those tools and to find those people, and we just have to be ready for it in order to accept it. That's an experience that I've been learning and working with myself, is being willing to accept God's love and the tools that he lays before you, and even just asking for it. You know, you can be in need of something, but if you don't ask God for what you are looking for and be specific, you're going to be literally floating around for a while trying to figure it out. But you got to ask him. You got to ask God for that. And so when it comes to those who are criticizing you in a positive way, those are usually the ones that are there to give you good feedback or point you in the right direction, you know, and really help uplift you. They want to see you do good. There's a filtering process that needs to take place for this, though. You can't just expect people or have unrealistic expectations, as a good friend of mine has shared with me. You can't have unrealistic expectations about people. You have to do the work to filter out those people. And I do understand that, you know, sometimes when it comes to setting boundaries, it can be challenging because you don't want to lose people. And at the same time, that's your thought process at that time, should I say, okay? Is, well, you know, such and such has been a good friend to me, or this person does that for me. Okay, and that's fine for now. But what if them not being there in your presence could actually open up gates for better opportunities to come? And I think a lot of us sometimes don't think about that. And so we shut down and we shut up and we go along to get along. And that's something that has to stop, because that blocks your voice. Like, there's literally people in our communities who they don't care about how well you do in life. Like, let's be real. There are people like that exist out there. But there are people out there who care and they want you to do good in life. But you got to do the job to filter out and stand on what you stand for. And if they are not for you, then get them out the way. It's, you know what I mean? Like, you'll come out a lot better and a lot stressed by setting your boundaries. There are people I don't even deal with anymore intentionally, because it's not even the fact that I have to ask you, well, do you mean me good? Because obviously if they don't, they're going to lie to you, right? Or maybe they might be honest. You got some out there who they got a lot of gall. They'll tell you, I don't mean you any good, and I could care less. But a lot of the times they're not going to say that because they want to save their own face, right? Their own character or whatnot. So you have to use your own discernment. And you have to tell those people, no, you know, there's many different ways you can set boundaries. Cut your time off with them. You're not available. And they'll be all right. They can take it up with God if they're not. Or if they are, I don't care. Okay? Like, I care, but you know what I mean? Like, no. You don't need to have people in your life that are going to cause you wounds that don't, like, they, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to go through something. If you're going to go through something, you might as well get a reward for it. You know what I mean? So don't allow people to set the standard for your voice or for what you do in your life. That's meaningless. That's not going to help you at all. And there was something else, you know, I wanted to also touch on the fact that when you allow someone else to shut your voice down, that can actually affect you physically, not just emotionally. You know, we tend to, I guess, misconstrue things. Our lives these days are so busy too, you know, so we can kind of lose focus on what an intention is, or what's behind the intention, what's behind what's actually going on with us. And when something is said to us, there is a wound that starts to form, and it's hard to heal. And as singers, especially singers, we have got to be very protective of what energy we're allowing to be with us or be around us, because healing can be very deep. It's this is not like that back in the day when we were little kids in school. Someone might have called you fat, or someone might have said something that rubbed you the wrong way. You go tell the teacher or your parents, and then they say, okay, um Keisha, go into the corner, or whatever. And then, or maybe you both spoke about it afterwards and you're done with it. But there are things out there in this world where once we come out of that childhood state, as adults, we then start to internalize things even more. Not saying children can't internalize things, because they can, but it can affect us even more as adults too, because, or should I say deeply, because we're dealing with life. We're dealing with survival even more so than we were when we were a child. Because we have to work, we have to think, we have to protect, we have to create, we have to live. And when things get in the way, you see someone trying to stop you from achieving a goal or setting doubt in your environment, your alarm goes off, your self-defense goes up, and you might be in a state of fight or flight, and you don't even know it. Don't even know it, because maybe the toxicity in your life is so bad, you don't even realize that you're in a state of attacking yourself psychologically. Panic attacks, those things are so is so deep. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. But this is just, an era in our lives, especially those of us who are older and we're singing and we're living. We have to be protective of ourselves. We can't just let someone come in and infiltrate who we are, our lives, our decisions. And honestly, I feel like this is something that should take place even as a child. Parents, who can actually start speaking to their children and say, hey, this is what we're teaching you. You respect that as you live under our roofs, but don't let anybody infiltrate your passion, your desire for your future. Because a lot of kids deal with peer pressure that way because of that, and they lose their voice. There are children who literally lose their voice, or they feel like they have no voice. They feel like they have no way to communicate. And it continues with them through not just elementary school, but through middle school and through high school. God forbid they get depression or, anything worse, So this is one of those things where we have to really, really protect ourselves, especially those of us who use our voices a lot. And so going back to that voice of self-doubt, we have to remember that voice is not ours. It's not ours. We didn't create it. It's 100% the person who said it. It's theirs. Give it back to them. Let them have it. You don't have to hold on to negative ideas, energies, perceptions, flaws, doubts, all of that, comments. Let them have that. They can keep it. When someone says something negative to me, I literally say it right back spiritually in my head. I send it right back to them. I don't keep that. I don't hold on to that. And I keep the smile on my face. I move on. Why? Because I know it's not true. People say unto you the things that they believe about themselves. This is 100% true. If a person has a beautiful spirit, and they feel beautiful about themselves, they will say beautiful things to other people. It's just plain and simple. And it won't hurt them to say it. They won't have to stutter or force themselves to say it. They'll just say it because they feel free within here, here, and in here. They feel free in order to say it, right? It's not hard to say, you are such a beautiful person. It's not hard to say, you sound so great. You sound amazing. You are an amazing person. It's okay to say that. But when you are hurt, I always say, like, I've actually said this phrase to people before: hurt people hurt people. If you are hurt inside, you're going to more than likely be toxic enough to hurt someone else. And you're not going to be able to see through that until you're ready to heal and peel away, the layers. That's when you're going to see it. It's a mindset thing. It really is. Let me see here. All right, I just want to make sure that I hit every topic, you guys. I try to make sure I keep myself as organized as possible, because I'm going to tell you, I can talk. I can talk. I am a talker. I am a singer. I'm a speaker. Okay? So I have to make sure I keep myself together, and I'm good with that. All right. So let's do something together. Unfreezing the voice. Okay? Let's work on an exercise I've started recently I guess it's been a minute now. Yeah. It's been at least a good year, at least a good solid year, probably a little bit more. But that I've really been, deeply observing my own voice and what I have to say. And I think that it's because I have had people in my past who have done things, said things to me that were hurtful, basically a reflection of themselves. And that's when I realized, oh, I don't need to be hurt. I don't need to be hurt because I know that what they said is not true. I even had somebody, this was like over a decade ago, someone told me, they were like, I don't like your voice. I just don't like your voice. And at that time, I was in college at the time someone told me this. And at that time, I was like, that stung, And I just kind of isolated myself from that person because I knew that their energy was not right for me. And I had to, of course, because I was in school with them, I had to be around them. I had to at times. But over time, as I become older and understand, who I am, I realized that it wasn't me that they were really talking to. It was themselves. They were projecting, right? I know in some cases, some people have done stuff like that to me as a sense of motivation. Like, oh, if I say this, it'll make her do whatever. But that doesn't always work for people, I'm not always like that myself, personally. I'll tell you right now, if you did that to me, it wouldn't help, because I literally now, my perception when people say stuff that's just off the wall is, that is a perception of how you see yourself. Got it. On to the next thing. That's literally how I look at life now, because it's no sense in stressing myself. So here we are, back to the exercise intended here. I want us to do an exercise where I'm going to have us just chill and meditate. So we're going to start gently. Right now, I want you to just take a breath through your nose. And I want you to hold it. And then you're going to slowly exhale through your mouth. And we're going to do this a couple of times. Okay? This is the start of vocal healing. Breath is literally the foundation of the voice. So if you're going to heal it, you really need to work on your breath. So let's do that. So go ahead and take in your breath. And hold it. And slowly exhale. And inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Feel the breath as you inhale. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. All right. And I love doing meditation like this. There's various kinds of meditation I do. But this just happens to be one of them I'm sharing with you. But like I was saying, to heal the voice, you definitely want to get to know yourself a lot deeper. You want to understand your breathing pattern. You want to understand why you breathe the way you breathe. When you understand that, it will literally reveal so much more about you that even the obvious eye may not be able to see. As a singer, getting to understand your breath and having control over it does elongate the lifespan of your voice and the strength of your voice, the endurance of your voice. It really does. So let's do this other exercise I have. By the way, I do need to mention, when we were doing the earlier part of the exercise, when you do this again on your own, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Pay attention to how the air feels when you're breathing in your nose. Pay attention to the temperature of it. Does it feel cool or does it feel warm when it comes in and when you exhale? Pay attention to that. By doing that, it puts you even more in the moment. Like you're literally just focusing on your breath and nothing else because you want to know. Pay attention for you. Pay attention for that for you. Okay? Not anyone else, just you. Also, when you breathe, you want to make sure that you're breathing deeply. When I say deeply, I do not mean filled to capacity. I mean, take enough breath, like as if you're getting ready to speak to somebody, to say a phrase. But make sure that that air goes deep within the lungs, not in the chest, not in the shoulders. Go deep within the lungs. Okay? But don't drop it. Keep it consistent and relax. We're getting ready to do a lip trill. Okay? It's like you're making a hummingbird sound in a sense. With a brr sound, right? But this time it's with your lips. There are some people who they do have a bit of a challenge when they start out, so they do the tongue trill instead of the lip trill, right? But it is about balancing air, balancing breath, and that's why I'm actually starting it out here. So we're gonna do some gentle lip trills, and I'll have us do it 3 times. I'm not gonna have us do pitch first, just trill, okay? So take in your air now and for about as long as you feel or for as long as you can, okay? Go ahead and do it again. Inhale. Good. Now, we're going to do it this time, but with adding pitch, okay? So we'll go, and it could be any pitch you want. It doesn't have to be this pitch. It can be any pitch you want, okay? You can do, or in between, okay? Do that with me. Let's go. Go ahead and inhale just as you would when you deep breathe for meditation. Inhale. One more. Very nice. Also, there's other variations you can do. If you want to do like a 5-tone scale, you can go FYI, if you want to be more creative with it, okay? Now, this time we're going to do a hum. I'm going to hum on the scale. We're going to hum on the scale this time. We're going to focus on feeling the vibration in the face, okay? And when we talk about feeling vibration in the face, think about the fact that when you are singing or you're speaking, as the vocal cords are vibrating and the air is floating out, you know, the sound has to go somewhere. Well, typically when we're speaking, our sound goes here and it hits the bones in the face, right? That's how the resonance comes through. So keep that in mind when you're working on your voice and you're singing, where the sound is coming out. These are not the only areas where sound comes from or where it vibrates. You have a whole skull. So, I mean, if you're a soprano like me, you're often up here. Okay. So let's do a hum. We're going to go hum. Getting used to that voice. Get used to your voice. Okay? Give your voice the energy that it's due. Let's do it. Breathe. Breathe. You should feel vibration here in the lips, in the nose, right? Type vibration below if you're feeling vibration. You can do more than that too. You can go. We can even switch keys. Whatever feels good to you. And when I went up there, I started feeling it even more up here in my face. What about you? Leave a comment below and let me know where you feel your vibration. Do you feel it in your lips? Do you feel it in your nose? Do you feel it up here at the forehead, in the head voice region? Let me know. Okay? The next thing, this will be a test for some, but it'll be worth it. Okay? It can be anything. I just want you to sing a line of a song that you really love. Okay? Even if it's quiet, it doesn't have to be loud. And just do it. There's no judgment. Okay? Just sing. Okay? I will sing. What shall I sing, y'all? Ooh, maybe some Anita Baker. What's one of my favorite songs? I love Anita. Oh my gosh. Anybody knows Anita Baker in here? Let me know. She's one of the best R&B singers. I found out that she's a contralto, y'all. Oh my gosh. I was like, what? But that makes so much sense when you listen to her voice and you really listen to the quality. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I guess so. But she does sound like, to me now, she sounds like a soprano. But when you look at all of the other intricate details about her and her voice, it makes so much sense. Let's see. What have you done to me? I can't eat, I cannot sleep, and I'm not afraid anymore. No, no. I don't know what to do, 'cause all of me wants all of you. And then too, I want something a little higher. I love her. She's like my chest voice for real. Maybe. Y'all don't know why my mind just went blank on my repertoire. Why? I think I got a little too deep into my meditation, so now I'm just like, I'm chill. My brain's like, ah. How about if I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I'll go, but I know I'll think of you every step of the way. And I will my darling, you. Mm-hmm. I love me some Whitney Houston. Whatever it is, I want you to sing it, okay? Sing it. Even if it's, how will I know if he really loves me? Right? Do it. Whatever it is, just sing and have fun and be present. I think that's one of the reasons why I even love singing so much, because it keeps me present. It keeps me in the current state of flow. And it's a good state of flow at that. So now, my vocal virtuosos, let's talk about setting some new boundaries. Okay? We got to put them up. Put them up. Put them up. We got to put them up. Because it's time to draw the line between who hurt you and who you are becoming. That right there, my friends, my pupils, my students and colleagues, this is how we heal. We have to differentiate that. Sometimes we get lost in that spiral of rumination. I have been there. And I'm out of it. Thank God. I'm free. Woo! And when I tell you, it is so worth the work. It's worth the work. Okay? So let's talk about, how do we do that? So how do we draw a fine line between who hurt you and where you're going? Well, let's look at the what's and the whys. We got to look at everything, okay? What is it that happened? Why did it happen? And does it really have that much power over you? Do you need to let it have that much power over you? And in my opinion, hell no, okay? No. There is nothing that anyone can do to you that should allow you to let them have that much control over you that you don't move forward. And I say this from experience. I've been there. That's how I know. And when I look back at how redonkulous it was, and not to judge anybody else who's going through this, please understand that if you came to my channel, you've came to improve. If you haven't, keep scrolling, okay? Because I'm gonna be real. That's life. Life is real. Life is real. And we have to be real with ourselves once we are ready. That's why I always tell people, come to me when you're ready. Don't come to me when you're thinking about it. I'm a Capricorn, okay? So if you know anything about Capricorns, if you're not ready, don't come. Don't come. I don't want to hear it. I love you. The love will be there. Come to me when you're ready. Don't bring me your troubles and you don't want to fix it. That's just how I am. And I see why I'm that way. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just take a little side podium and speak real quick on this. I remember when I was younger and people would say, "Oh, you're so impatient," or "You're so rude," "You're so whatever." Okay, I remember being by myself in certain cases, and people will invite me, and then they'll be like, "Well, she didn't come. I guess she's kind of stuck up." Whatever. I'm gonna tell you this. One thing I learned about myself, and many of y'all who are like this, maybe you are and you don't know it, or maybe you are and you know it, but I was not designed to give two rats behinds about someone else's negative opinions about me. That's not how I was born or built. That's not how I'm built. I'm not built for that. I tried it. It didn't work out. I tried caring I tried giving two rats behinds about people's opinions about me, and it failed miserably. Okay? That's the perception that I have now, and this is the perception that I encourage students to have, my colleagues to have, because if you literally waste your time giving two rats behinds, three rats, 10 rats behinds, I don't care how many rats behinds, if you're giving a rat's behind about the opinions of other people that are negative and you let it sit there and stagnate in your energy, it will destroy you. It will prevent you from getting to where you want to be. Think of it that way, because that's literally what's going on. So for those in the past who have said things, hurtful things, or at least what was supposed to be hurtful to me, notice how I just dismissed it, right? Because it's not hurtful. It was designed to be hurtful, but it isn't. It really isn't. It doesn't have to be. The only time something is hurtful to you is if you give it that kind of energy. You give it your energy. If you give it your energy and your attention, it will become intrusive. It will become ruminant in your mind. It will harm you. It doesn't have to be that way. You have a choice. You have choices that you can make to overcome that all of the time. Not just one thing, all of the time. Right? So when you draw that boundary and you come up with the decision that, okay, I know this person did this thing, or I know this situation happened, but and I understand why it happened. Sometimes you don't really fully understand everything, by the way. And sometimes some things you probably will never understand. But the important thing is that you get the lesson out of the situation that you're supposed to learn from the situation. And then go figure out your why behind your passion. Why is it that you were doing this thing, right? Like for me, my why for singing is, well, I have multiple, okay? But one of my whys is because it makes me happy. One of my whys is because I love teaching people how to do what I love to do. And that's something I often say. I love teaching people how to do what I love to do. And what I love to do is to sing. So then if I love that so deeply and so much, I'm not going to let anything come in between me and meeting my goals. Period. It's just not going to happen. People will try to do things, say things, whatever. Let them do it. Let them say it. You have a boundary. You don't have to pay attention to that stuff. Let them feel ignored. That's their business. Oh, well. But the important thing is that you get to your goal. You get to why you woke up in the morning to go do what you want to do. This is when you start to unlock your voice. This system that we have right here is so important. It really is. It's very important to us. Our heart, our mind, we should never sever those from each other. They work together. Your thoughts, everything you think is attached to your emotions. And your emotions, your thoughts. And what you think and what you feel does impact your tongue. It impacts your energy. It impacts what you attract to you. So that means that with that type of gift, because it is a gift in itself, then you have an obligation to protect it and to mold it. Because just like one of my other posts recently says, singers are not born, they're made. They're made. We are made. And we have to filter what we are made of. We can't just put any kind of thing inside of us. That's not okay. So when you're becoming something great, you have to remove the toxic stuff. It has to go. Get rid of it. Seriously, be gone. Seriously, be gone. I don't any longer entertain things or people that don't serve me. And you don't need to. I don't even know why people even do stuff like that. I guess I do know. It's because it's part of the culture. It's part of the culture. The culture is, oh, you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, but just shut up and go along to get along. I'm not part of that team. I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't me. It might have been something I tried in the past, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's one of the things that I tried, and it failed horribly. Horribly. Do not have assumptions about me. And don't let people, well, you know what? I'll put it this way. You can let people assume anything. Let them assume. I don't care. Just don't let it impact you negatively. Don't let other people's perceptions of you. Because people are going to have all kinds of perceptions of you being a singer, being a vocalist, being vocal. You can just be a speaker, for crying out loud, and someone has an opinion about you, right? You could be a banana on the side of the road and somebody's going to have an opinion about a banana on the side of the road, y'all. Come on. You see what I'm saying? Somebody might see the banana and say, ooh, I'm not going to touch that banana peel. I would pick it up and put it in the trash. There might be ants all over it. Don't even know that the banana was just thrown down just 3 seconds ago before they even saw it. Was not even an ant on the banana peel. Right? And I'm just using this as an example because this is literally how silly it is to allow someone else's intrusive, petty, unnecessary thoughts to intrude upon your beautiful blessings and gifts and goals, man. Don't let that shut your voice up. Don't let that shut you down. It's not worth it. You have time on this earth to do the things that God placed you here to do. Why allow someone to stop your voice? Don't answer that question. There is not a good answer. There will never be a good answer. Never. Never. I have a mentor of mine who's good at doing that with me, and I appreciate her so much, where she literally is like, she'll ask you a question. It sounds like a legit question. It's just, a redundant question. She'll say, shut up, don't answer that question. And I appreciate that because it stops the negative thinking. It stops the stinking thinking that we tend to do because of habit, because of poor understanding, because of misunderstanding of our own self-worth. We don't feel worthy of, so we'll put an excuse in place so that we don't do the thing that God wants us to do. And God's just sitting there like, I gave you the gift, you're not going to use it. But, well, I guess that'll be another lost cause, unfortunately. Okay. And in some cases, you'll see where some things start happening to people who have gifts because they're not using it or they're not doing anything to better it, So it's like, well, don't set yourself up, because it's almost like, you're putting something negative on yourself. You're shutting yourself out. No one can make you shut up. It's you that shuts yourself up. Don't shut yourself up. Talk to yourself positively. Get in the mirror. I love doing mirror exercises. Oh my God, I gotta go find her page real quick. Hold on one second. There's this lady who does these mirror exercises. I love her channel so much. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And if I can't find it while I'm on this live, y'all, I will put it in the description so that you can look at it later. But she does, I think it's Tanya. That's her name, Tanya. I remember her name because I was like, her name is so pretty and unique. I love it. But go look up her channel, Tanya. That's her name. And she has this exercise. Hold on one second. Is that? No, that's not it. Oh, okay. Darn. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and look it up because I don't see her page on my thing for some reason. So, but anywho, go look up Tanya, okay? Look up Tanya mirror exercise. I'm sure it'll pop up, okay? But she does these exercises. She teaches people to really get excited, pull that energy forward to bring forth what they want to occur in life, right? Like you're speaking it into existence. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are familiar with that phrase, speaking things into existence. And hold on one second, share something with someone. Hopefully they'll get in here before I get off. Well, they'll be able to watch it again later. But yeah, I love that exercise. You're literally in the mirror talking to yourself. You're saying, hey, you're amazing. You are great. You can do anything you put your mind to. I love that exercise. I love speaking things into existence, right? I have students that are amazing. I have students that are really learning what I'm teaching. They get on my lives, they learn, they listen, they're having fun. They're joining my groups and they're learning so much. That's what we're doing, right? I love that because then it kicks the doubt away, right? It helps me to actually reaffirm my boundaries that I have for myself because I'm speaking it into life as if it is what it is so, because it is, right? It is. So remember too that boundaries aren't just about saying no to other people. The most important part about it is that it's about saying yes to yourself. Because people will say, oh, no, you can't do that. Or no, 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 whatever. You know, bleh. Okay. Like my mother, oh my gosh. My mom, she was that person that would tell herself yes, even though everybody said no. I love that about her so much. Oh, she was a beast. And matter of fact, the 15th anniversary of her passing just passed in March. So I'm glad to be able to share this much about her on my live today. But that woman, you couldn't tell her no. And it was going to happen, and it happened. It happened. She was a doer, and she get it done every single time. Every single time. And that as a child watching that, growing up watching her like that, it motivated me. And despite the naysayers on the sidelines and the family or whatnot, you know, her love for making sure that our dreams come true stood strong through it all. And it still does. And I share that to say that you don't have to let someone else's no be your no. You have to remember that the no came out of their mouths, not yours. So if someone tells you no, and I'm talking specifically about following your dreams here, okay? Because there are some things when somebody says no, that means no, you need to follow that, okay? But when we're talking about following your dreams and, you know, stepping into the person that you are becoming, you don't need to listen to anybody's no. You need to listen to your yeses. When you listen to your yeses, you're more likely to achieve your goals because your mind believes it is so, that it is so. You know? It's just like when you pray. You pray, you put those intentions out there into the world, into the universe. God hears you. God sees you. God understands all of you, understands more of you than you understand about yourself, right? But you put that dream out there, and God will give you the desires of your heart, literally. Give you every single tool as long as you do what it takes to get there. And be consistent and persistent about it. So don't listen to the no's. Tell yourself yes. Yes, you can do this. I've had singers who will come into my studio and they'll say, or who work with me online and they'll say, I don't know if I can do this. You came to me and you don't know if you can do this? That's one of the thoughts that comes to my head, I'll be honest with you. And I'll ask them, well, why do you feel that way? And usually it's because someone else told them that they wouldn't be good at it, or they told themselves no because someone else they felt set a standard. So we have to stop that and tell ourselves, yes, yes, we can. If I had been um, easy enough to accept that when I was much younger, I wouldn't be where I am now when it comes to singing. I wouldn't be singing opera. I wouldn't. I would have probably have gone in that same stereotype, mindset with, oh, we don't sing that kind of music type of mentality. Uh, that's not possible for you. Those types of things. Now I will say, I have had a teacher. I'm not gonna say her name, but if she's watching this live, she know who she is. um, who told me when I was in high school that I would never be able to have the quality of a coloratura because, I'm heavy set and broad and would never be able to sing like that or have flexibility in my voice, basically, is what she was saying. Because I did not listen to her, and I was in high school, y'all, because I strongly felt the why. This is why I'm saying you got to separate what negative things other people say about you or to you from who you're becoming. And I did that at that age. I didn't realize that that was what I was doing. Like, I didn't think about the concept, y'all. I was in high school, okay? But I knew that what she was saying to me was not true and it wasn't worth listening to. And I asked for proper guidance and God gave it to me. And then I found the right instructor when I got to college, who then explained to me more about the voice, why they said what they said, perhaps, and how I can achieve that style of singing, or at least the characteristics of it. And boom, it happened. So when you allow yourself, because this is all really what it is, you giving yourself permission to move beyond and move past what someone else thinks about you and says about you, when you do that, your dreams will come true. It literally will. It literally will. But you have to allow it to happen. So I want you to say something with me, because one of the main focuses of this live and with what I do is helping people to find their voice and exercise their voice. So I want you to say it out loud with me. And I want you to say, I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to be heard. I want you to say that right now. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to be heard. I am allowed to take up space. And I am allowed to be heard. Because I am. I am. When you start saying this to yourself enough, it will make more sense to you. To some people at first, it might sound like, a couple of sentences or some words. But these words, when you put them together in the recipe in which I have created, it actually creates this beautiful gumbo of love and understanding of self-worth. The more you say something, the more you will believe it. The more you say things, the more you'll be inclined to believe it. This is why you have situations on TV where people will constantly post commercials. Why? Because they know that psychologically, if you keep seeing things repetitively, you're going to believe it. You're going to see it. You're going to think about it. You're going to internalize it. You're going to believe it, right? So if that's the case, and there are people in your lives that are making your voice feel this small, maybe that small, then this is actually the best thing for you to be telling yourself. This is the thing that will wake you up to the truth. Because you're allowed to take up space and you're allowed to be heard. God wouldn't have given you a voice and a mouth to use to make those sounds or make whatever. It doesn't even have to be a verbal sound. It could literally be playing a piano or playing any instrument. However you make your voice be heard, let it be so. But you have to understand that you are allowed to be heard. You have a voice. Let the world hear you. Let the world hear you. There's somebody in this world that needs to hear your voice. Just like here with me and you. You're here with me. You're listening to me and my voice. And I am strong within my voice. And I will forever be strong in my voice. But you're here to get this message from me today. So understand that you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be heard. You're allowed to take up space and you're allowed to be heard. Excuse my pronunciation there. I've been working on German. You are allowed to take up space and you are allowed to be heard. You are a beautiful person inside and out. There is nothing that anyone in this world or in this universe or this galaxy that can do to harm you so much that you step away from your dreams and your goals. You get up, you keep moving, you keep fighting like hell, and you make it work. You do the damn thing. That is what needs to be done. You don't owe anyone silence to keep them comfortable. If someone feels like you're being too loud for them, they can leave the room. That's one of the things I love about YouTube. If what I'm saying is not for you, you can keep on going, honey. Keep scrolling. Please keep scrolling. I'm asking. Please keep scrolling. Because I'm here for the people who's here for it. For what I have to bring to the table to help them. That's why I'm here. So please be unapologetically boisterous. I think I'm going to coin that term. Unapologetically boisterous. Because when you're unapologetically boisterous, you have control over your destiny. Because then you can speak life into yourself. And you don't have to worry about anybody speaking life into you because you're doing it yourself. And yes, there will be people that will still speak life into you. That's fine. But you must speak life unto yourself. You must be the one that does that because you have to believe that you are worth being seen and being heard. Because you have a message, you have a gift that needs to be utilized that God gave you. And as God's children, God does not want us to be sad. God does not want us to be powerless. He does not want us to be poor. He does not want us to be hurt, traumatized. That is not in our DNA. That is not what he wanted for us. God wants his children to be happy. He wants us to be wealthy in happiness and in love and in positive energy and in so much more. There's even more than what we could even fathom that he wants us to have, right? So if that be the case, which it is, then why give someone your power? God gave the power he gave you to you, not to them. He gave it to you. So then you use that power for you. And in that, as you develop yourself, because that's the thing, it's not about being selfish. You even hear people say, well, you're being too selfish. You're not giving me. What? No, that's not how that works. They got God messed up right there on that one. Because that's not how that works. You have to nurture yourself in order to be able to give to somebody else. And a lot of that are things that, a lot of us, when we were younger, we didn't understand that. Our parents didn't understand that. But we understand it now. Because an unnurtured person cannot nurture other people. And if someone wants to be nurtured by someone who's unnurtured, then that is a bunch of toxicity waiting to happen. And they must love it. They must love the toxicity. Right? But we don't. We don't love the toxicity. Clearly, that's why you're here. That's why you're watching the live. That's why you want this, right? So don't worry about making those people comfortable. If they are not comfortable in your life, they can go. They don't have to stay here. Let them move out of your way because they're taking up space that God needs for you to use to put the people who want to be in that space there. That's what that is about. I did mention too, I said that singers use your boundary to protect your voice emotionally and spiritually. And physically too, right? We don't want any vocal nodules. We don't want any hemorrhages on the vocal cords. We don't want a strained throat. We don't want the tension. We want to remove all of those things. Singing is very spiritual, and a lot of people do not realize that, but it is a very spiritual thing. And it's important that we understand that because the biggest, most wonderful spirit of them all gave us our voice, right? So you must do that. You must protect and guard that. That is your obligation as a speaker, as a singer. That is our obligation to protect this. And at all costs. All right. So the next step forward that I'm going to share with you is to understand that rebuilding yourself really does take time. It's not something that's a quick fix. And if someone tells you something's a quick fix, run the other way because it's not going to fix it like you think it's going to fix it. Okay? It might fix it, but it might fix something you don't want to be fixed. All right? But it starts with having brave moments, taking risks. Taking risks in ways that will make you grow and help improve you, right? Oh my goodness, hold on one second. I got a book to share. Let me see. That actually reflects on this. And then you guys, I got to get ready to go. I forgot what time it is. I'm just having such a good time on here talking to y'all. Now, there's this book called Rejection Proof. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. If I say it wrong, please forgive me. Jia Jiang is Jiang. Okay. And here's a picture of the book. This book is so amazing. I love it. I'm already reading through it again. Like I just got this book not long ago and I'm already reading through it again. See all the no's? Everybody knows trying to pour on the umbrella. But the umbrella is setting a boundary, y'all. It's setting a boundary. I'll make sure I put a link to this inside my description. This book is so amazing. I love what he did in that. book, he shares that he did everything intentionally to make sure that someone would tell him no. Ah, I would love for someone to tell me no, because what that does is it makes me fight even more for what I want. And I learn to ignore the no's. Ah, see where I'm going with that one? It is a great book, and I highly recommend that you go get it. So make sure that you get Rejection Proof. They also have it on Audible too, if you're not someone who likes to, maybe you don't have the time or you don't like sitting there reading through the book, but you want to get through the book a little quicker. Go check it out. Okay. By the way, he's not sponsoring this video. I'm just sharing it because I legit love that book, and it's done a lot for me and other people. But go ahead and take those brave moments. Do what you got to do. Break out in song inside of Publix or Winn-Dixie. I don't care. I do it all the time. Before we had these different challenges, there were certain stores I would go in most often to go sing, because I would shop there all the time, right? But now I find myself singing in other aisles and other stores. But the point is go sing and have fun. Surround yourself with people who care about you and who want to see you do your best. Don't surround yourself by negative people. Surround yourself with people who will support you during your healing. I also recommend you join a group. That's part of that. Joining a group of people who have your same ideals or similar ideals and want to improve, or maybe they're much more sharper than you. Go to that group. I always love being around people who are much more savvy and smart in other regions that I want to improve in. Go in that direction, okay? That's what makes us better. But yeah, join a group, join a challenge, join some classes, where your voice can be safe to grow and be nurtured, okay? Start a voice journal. I love voice journals. I have tons of those over the years. I've had so many, still work on mine now. But I love them because you can track your progress and you can see like where you started from and where you go. Matter of fact, I actually have one. I'll share with you guys if you're interested. But matter of fact, no, this is what I'm gonna do. If you join my group, because I actually have a boot camp that starts next Thursday. Next Thursday at 10 a.m. If you join my group, where we are doing a 5-day singers boot camp, I will add that as a freebie for you. So then, and I'll show you how to use it. I'll show you how to use the journal so you can track your progress, your emotions, and your improvement in your voice. Okay. You can even put your songs in there. I'll show you how to do it. And then make sure you take time to sing out at least one time a day. Like literally sing. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or feels. Just do it. Do it just for you, because that's what's most important. Okay? And again, surround yourself with people who are going to support you through all your goals. If they're not going to support you, don't do it. Like don't be around those types of people. Toxicity is not what you want. Okay? And it's definitely not what you need when you're healing. Definitely not. So again, before I close, make sure you join that group. I'll make sure that I give you that journal for free, just for being there as well, okay? And understand that your voice is not broken, okay? And it's never too late to heal and rebuild yourself, or to build yourself if you haven't started, right? And it has been waiting patiently for you this entire time. If that's what you're here for, then let's do it. Let's build your voice. Because you need to have that positive belief in yourself. You need to believe in yourself and understand who you are. And you can find yourself through your voice. I know I have and still am. It's a forever thing. It doesn't ever end. And I love that. And understand that I'm here to help you do just that. So if this resonated with you today, please click subscribe, share this video with someone whom will like it and who it can benefit. And know that when you like my When you like my videos, it does help with the algorithm for other people to be able to see it. So please like it and share it to other people. I greatly appreciate that. And if you look, even if you don't understand, I still love you. Okay? And I appreciate you for even being here, right? So yeah, we're good, you guys. I gotta head out of here now, but I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. I will also put the link in the description for you to join the group for the 5-day challenge boot camp that we're doing for singers. 5-day singers boot camp. I am so excited about that, y'all. Go ahead and join the community as well. I'm up there posting throughout the day, every day. Make sure you get in. There's only so many seats available too, so that's another reason why I'm like, hey, make sure you register, because I'm only going to take so many people, because I can only help so many people at a time, unfortunately. Okay, so I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have a beautiful day. Love you. See you later.